morning and welcome to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. That's 844-967-2789. You can text us at that same number. Good morning to you, Calvin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Earl. Another day closer to the weekend.
Yeah,
How are you?
man, we're climbing that mountain, man. And we're succeeding for now.
Yeah, one foot in front of the
Yeah,
other.
we can kind of see the finish line. It's not so far away. But, it's Thursday, and that means, the best hour of the week for me, as I'm once again joined by none other than Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, the proprietor of Welltopia Pharmacy in Mequon, Thingsville. Good morning to you, Doc. How you doing?
Good morning, Earl. I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling like I can take on the world.
That's wonderful, wonderful feeling. You feel it, you
Yeah,
make it.
I have to say this again, um, because, I didn't realize prior to meeting you, I didn't realize, you know, I keep telling people I'm 70 years old, and I didn't know what it was like to be 70 years old. I didn't know, you don't have any prior reference as we age, how we're supposed to feel at different times and points in our lives. And so I, was feeling, what I thought was the way I should
Okay.
feel as
You
I
feel
was
okay?
aging.
Yeah. Slowly,
And
slowly, slowly. It's
yes,
a slow feeling, right?
and so until you and I started having our dialogue and our conversations, and I started following, the regime that you talk about here every Thursday. And I started following that. Man, I'm telling you, it's like a rebirth. I may be 70 years old, but man, I don't feel 70 years old, man. Every time people see me, hey, man, you don't. It's not only that I don't, feel it physically, but
That's wonderful.
I hope you know that I don't look it. But you know,
You look
uh,
great, Earl.
but man, all those things we talk about, they work. The
Yeah.
supplements, they work.
If there is good science behind it and we do it balance it and we're not overdoing anything and we're always looking for the science and we're humbled by the science, so we're always going to follow the good information and share it. I think this would be normal, but thank you for saying that. That empowers me to help more people.
And I will tell you this last thing, and then we can move on with the show. You know, the supplements, you kind of put it in the right vein for me to understand it. You look at sometimes underneath the bottle and you say, oh, because you see the price of it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you say, well, okay, I may choose to go to a Buck game, and if I take one person with me and I buy a couple things, it's $200
Yeah,
for one game, and we don't give that a second thought.
yeah. Marketing,
Yes, yeah,
marketing.
but 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 when it comes to buying supplements that last you for a month or 2 months, hey, hey,
Something is going to
yeah,
change. Yeah,
yeah, oh yeah,
something
oh yeah.
changed. The perception is changing. And that's why at Wiltopia, I try to put my supplements on very expensive pictures. So people, when they see them as stars, same way that they look at cosmetics, because it helps you to be beautiful on the inside. Your body will flourish and grow, and you keep glowing every day of your life. That's what we're looking for.
Well, I like glowing, but anyway, let's let's talk about let's talk about a serious issue, Doctor
Yeah,
Omar, osteosporosis.
osteoporosis. Yes.
Porosis, right?
Osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis.
We can call osteoporosis of, or weak bones, the body foundation. Your bones are your body foundation. I can seriously call it a silent killer, worse than many other conditions that we give more importance to. Like we think of cancer, we think of diabetes, we think of other conditions, but we don't think much when the doctor tells us you have osteopenia, which is weak bones, osteoporosis, in which there is a T score, which is something called DEXA screening that would be like patients or people on Medicare would take this DEXA screening, and suddenly the doctor is telling them you have weak bones. That starts to be an issue, and then people start getting prescription that they take every week, and many of them would just worry about how to take the medication, and they don't worry about what's the outcomes of taking the medication, because it's not just a pill that you take or another medication that you take. It's a lifestyle that should be changed, because osteoporosis have killed so many people, far more than other health conditions over the years. I want to tell you that there is studies that show that if someone breaks a hip and they are after a certain age in life, it's going to take about, I would say, a year, and then there is 50% increase in death.
Wow.
50% in the first year of this is, yeah, this is a problem. And the challenge that we are having here is that uh, osteoporosis is or breaking a hip or a serious bone in the body is kind of the starts a snowball. There can be blood clots, there is loss of mobility, there is cognitive problems. So it all starts from weaker bones early in life, and that's why there is many, and it's not just women, it's men and women. uh, so this is something that we have to look at, and something that we have to consider, how to protect our bones, our foundations, whether we're 25 or 65. We have to take charge today.
Dr. Omar, you just, you know, stole my thunder. You actually, when you said, when I think osteoporosis, I think an older woman. And that's what we kind of visualize. A a small woman who is aged, and you mentioned younger ages and men. Let's let's kind of talk about why we automatically think women, older women, when we talk about osteoporosis.
Yeah, it's because older women, they fall more, they break a hip because they have weaker bones, and then within a year they die, or it's just they're in a senior house after that. They're immobile and not able to walk. It's like kind of what we see, but behind the scenes, we have to think of how many people are drinking soda today. Soda, all right? Soda, the black drinks that we have unlimited refills when we go to the everywhere, all right? The phosphoric acid in the sodas, in the colas, incredibly dissolve the bones, all right? So it makes the bones softer. Think of drinking soda over
Wow.
years and years without thinking of what we're drinking, because we're younger and we're full of energy and we're full of this vigor that make us do what we want to do. Then we grow up, and then we hear something in the news, and okay, I'm going to quit drinking soda now, and I started drinking water. But there is damage that has happened over the years, and that's why I'm recommending to younger generation who are listening to us, between 30 and 35 years old, to think of doing a DEXA screening for the bones, to check where we are today, and not to wait until we are 45 or 50 years old to start to know what's the health of our bones, so we can start taking action today, due to the quality of the foods that we are eating and the bad eating habits that we grew up on. It gets to be important, Aaron.
Dr. Omar, you mentioned cola. Did I hear
Yeah.
you right? Did you say cola?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
why is cola more more of a dangerous soda than the others? I mean, they all have their issues and problems, but you mentioned cola. Why?
Because they have higher concentration of phosphoric acid, and this phosphoric acid causes the dissolving of the bones, rubs out the nutrients from the bones.
You know,
So, and they are also very high in sugar.
I used to drink not much, going back to, there was something about a Dr. Pepper
Yeah, my
that
son loves Dr. Pepper.
that that I would drink, and it had a lot to do with that fizz and that acid you're talking about.
Yeah,
There's something about it, man, and I never drank it so much, but it was something about a Dr. Pepper. And then you look at the colas themselves,
yeah,
and so the others any aren't good for you as well. Any of those sodas, right? I mean, but these
yeah. We
colas
have
that so many people love, Pepsi and Coke and those kind of things,
yes.
those manufacturers of those drinks and products, they know the inherent dangers of that, don't they? Or
Well,
or do
actually,
they
they
not?
have experts. They have experts, and they spend a lot of money about for the taste. They have to make it very tasty so people can drink a lot of this, so they can make more money. And the inherent danger of those when they are slowly deteriorating the health, then they can get a pass from the health authorities. And when they tried in New York few years ago to try to stop the unlimited refill inside the McDonald's and
I
some
remember
of
that.
the department stores, they could not do it because the lobby, when it comes to the investment that comes with these kind of sodas, they found that the money is going to be less. So they couldn't do it, you know. So that's why we have to be understanding the dangers of bringing these drinks to the house. Like, let it be in the restaurant, okay? Let it be when we go out, but don't bring it to the house. You bring it to the house, it will be disastrous for the family, you know?
All right, 844-967-2789 is the number. It's Thursday. That means you're in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show. 844-967-2789. Look, you got the Pepsis, the Coca-Colas, the Dr. Peppers, and all of that. They're not your friend.
Not your friend.
The following content is not intended as medical advice. Always consult your own physician, pharmacist, or healthcare professional for your own healthcare concerns.
Bringing you a passion for health and wellness. Dr. Omar Uliwa is here to answer your pharmaceutical questions. Now, let's go in the pharmacy with Earl Ingram and Dr. Omar.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of years without crying. Now I want to understand. I have done all that I could to see the evil and the good without hiding. You must help me if you can. Doctor, my eyes, tell me what is wrong. Was I unwise to leave them open for so long?
All right. Welcome back to In the Pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. Text us at that same number. You know, Dr. Omar, how can people get in touch with you?
They can call at the pharmacy 262-429-9429 or go to willtopiarx.com and send me a message.
And Calvin, how can people, if they weren't able to catch that, how can they reach back and find out about the conversation?
Yeah, the show is always on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get your podcasts. You can also go to civicmedia.us/shows and you'll see the Earl Ingram Show, and all of Earl's past shows are there for you to listen to.
Hey, thank you, Calvin. So, plus, if there's anything else you guys want to discuss with Dr. Omar, anytime we're on the show and having these conversations, and there's something that you want us to talk about, or you need to have a discussion with Dr. Omar, always feel free to call and chime in with whatever the issue is that you want to discuss. That's the whole purpose of having Dr. Omar on, so he can, address the issues that impact and affect you. We're talking about osteoporosis. And in the meantime, let's go to Mary from Wauwatosa. Always good to hear from you, Mary. How you doing this morning?
Pretty well, thank you, Earl and Dr. Omar.
Thank you, Mary.
As a person who's going to be celebrating her 80th birthday next springtime, I just had my bone density test, and given the lifestyle advice by my functional medicine doctor and supplements that he recommends, my test is pretty positive. But my main comment is that regarding the cost of health supplements, I prioritize them in my budget, and I really feel like I'm supporting my health instead of paying for, a dress of disease and sickness later on. So, the money is well spent. Earl, you mentioned the comment of, putting money out there for entertainment, sports. This is money well spent. And thank you both of you.
Hey, Mary, thank you very much for that call. Dr. Omar, she's absolutely correct. If we can do the preventative thing up front, the cost of trying to turn around or backtrack from the things that we did when we were younger, the cost is minimal.
Yes, this is a very important topic when it comes to such a serious condition like osteoporosis, because the initial plan that comes after we visit the doctor is usually to take bisphosphonate medication like alendronate sodium. These are medications that help to decrease the breakdown of bones. To put things into perspective, osteoporosis happens when the breakdown of bones is more than the buildup of the new bones. So if we are decreasing the breakdown of bones and we increase the generation of new bones, that helps to bring the balance to the positive balance, and then to help decrease it and then minimize it and then treat it, because it takes months and years to fix osteoporosis. The challenge that happens is that we hear a lot, take calcium, drink more milk, take calcium. And this is false perception, because we can take as much calcium as we want, but if we increase the calcium intake, we're going to threaten the arteries. We can cause hardening of the arteries in the body, and that's why we see a rise in the calcium score when patients are checking their cardiovascular risk. And there are actually studies that show that increase intake of milk to get calcium that is highly bioavailable can increase, not decrease, osteoporosis. So many people cannot drink a lot of milk, and most people must take calcium from the leafy greens, vegetables, nuts. Think of the cows. How does the cow have good calcium? Because the cow is drinking, eating grass, not drinking milk. So just like, let's put things into perspective. Eating healthy meals, vegetables, is going to help us with the calcium. We really need to focus on the vitamin D and the vitamin D levels, and taking more vitamin D. I would say 3,000 to 5,000 units a day, in addition to vitamin K2, is an early approach that I recommend to every adult woman, to invest in her bones by taking enough amount daily of vitamin D, especially that we're living in Wisconsin, where we don't see the sun most of the year. Some good days, like the previous days in Wisconsin, we're seeing more sun, and we can come out and stay 10-15 minutes to take the daily intake that we need of vitamin D on our skin, but most of the year we do not. So we need higher vitamin D levels in our body to be able to attract the calcium and put it in the bones. And then we need also vitamin K2 to help with the prevention of the buildup of calcium on the arteries. So multifactorial approach early on, and then later there is another plan.
844-967-2789 is the number. You're officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, the best hour of the week for me on the Earl Ingram Show.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm right and I can be wrong. My own beliefs are in my song. Butcher, a banker, a drummer, and then makes no difference what group I'm in. I am everyday people. Yeah, yeah. There is a blue one, and it's at the green one for living on the bad one. Trying to be the skinny one, different strokes for different folks. So on and so on, it's Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
All right. Welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. Text us at that same number. It's Thursday. That means Thursdays with the one and only Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, a proprietor of Welltopia Pharmacy in Mech One, Thingsville. Today, we're talking about osteoporosis, and you can call and talk about anything else, Dr. Omar. Let me go to the phone lines, and I got a couple other things I want to ask you. Let's go to Dave from Milwaukee. Good morning to you, Dave. You say what?
Hello, good morning.
All right.
We know that astronauts, despite getting optimal nutrition, they lose over 1% of their bone mass per month while they're in space. Could you speak to the importance of weight-bearing exercise in osteoporosis?
Dave,
This
you've
is very
always got
interesting.
some great insight, Dave, always. Dr. Omar?
Yeah, there was an article that looked at astronauts, Dave, and they were in their young, like 30 years old, went back in the outer space. They came back and they had like significant bone loss. And when they looked at the reason, they found that in the outer space, people, there's zero gravity, there's no stress on the bones. And when they come down back to Earth, they actually have lost significant amount of their bone mass because there's just like no stress on the bones. So hence they came with a correlation between the exercise and the adaptation of the muscles and the bones and the joints to the exercising. And that's why it's very important that we during exercise and putting stress, like balance the stress on the bones and the muscles to preserve muscle mass. And by exercise, we're talking about 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week of weight bearing exercise. Walking is good, but it is not enough for exercising to help with stronger bones. Gets to be exercising and activity is mobility is as important as food and supplements and medications to help with muscle mass. So yeah, this is a very important idea and topic and something to awaken the fact that we all need to exercise and move. If you're working on a sedentary position most of the day, every 50 minutes, stand up, like do some push-ups, sit back on your chair, because it starts early on. We know that people who are sitting on the computers all day long, after a few years, they would have back problems, bone problems. So this is important. There is also another important aspect of bone loss, which is women in perimenopause and menopause. Uh, there is studies that show within 7 years of menopause, women lose up to 25% or more of bone mass. They get to hear the term of osteoporosis very often, and that is because of the loss of the estrogen. And the estrogen is very important in the formation of the bones. That's why it's even used by functional medicine doctors to increase the levels of estrogen to help with bone loss. So it's multifactorial and it takes time to fix. And I want to tell people who start on supplements to help with osteoporosis, it is going to take 1 year to see results and 3 years to reverse osteoporosis. Like a serious program is going to take about 3 years. And many times it's not just taking vitamin D and vitamin K2 and calcium. I give to my patients, of course, with work while working with doctors, and many of my patients are doctors and in the field as well, and they try to get healthier. It's like they can get like a box of supplements that they take, like a packet in the morning, packet in the evening, and they renew it every month, and they do it for about 3 years. So it's like a commitment for bone health. And because it is a commitment, and many times osteoporosis doesn't get to be a problem until someone breaks a bone. So some people think, oh, it's not important now. I'm going to only take care of my high blood pressure and my high cholesterol and just forego this part and spend the money on drinking fancy coffee every day. And I want to tell people, no, this is an important aspect of your health. Do not overwhelm yourself, but put it as part of your plan, part of your budget to take care of your bones. Medications work, but they are not for everybody. Some people cannot take the bisphosphonates because of gut issues, GI issues, because of sensitivity, because of some serious side effects, or some people just don't want to take medication for osteoporosis. But if you're not going to take this medication, there has to be an alternative plan, and this alternative plan can be also discussed and approved by your doctor. And just drinking milk or taking calcium is not enough, because most people do not need more than 500 or 600 milligram of calcium a day. More than that is going to cause other health problems.
You know, Dr. Omar, you talked about the bones being alive.
Yeah.
And Look, with the average person, I'm the average person. I never gave it a second thought about my bone structure and my bones being alive. We think about our organs, we think about all our muscles, muscle mass, but the bones, you just assume, well, they're just bones.
It's the
Uh,
same. It's gonna stay the same.
yeah. So elaborate. What do you mean it's going to stay the same? Yeah, that is never that bone density and the strength of our bones when we're young. We never think about that decreasing.
Yeah, we often think that they are hard, lifeless structure.
Yes.
This happens maybe after we die, but actually during our life they are dynamic, living tissues, constantly renew themselves throughout the life. They consist from bone cells that contain osteoblasts, the cells that are responsible for building bones, osteoclasts, the cells responsible for breakdown of the bones. They have the bone matrix, the bone marrow, the blood vessels and nerves, like have network of blood vessels and nerves running through them. So they supply the nutrients to keep the bone cell alive, while the nerves sense the pain and regulate bone health. So they heal, they grow, they remodel, and that's why when a child breaks a bone, the doctors just want to make sure that they grow in the right direction, but they have enough nutrition and they're young and they can grow and remodel. But if we're older and we break a bone, it's more significant and important. So in summary, bones are living, active structures, play critical role in maintaining the health of the body, supporting movement, protecting organs, and even producing blood cells.
All right, let's go to David from Mequon. Good morning to you, Dave. You say what?
Good morning. This is a great subject with Dr. Omar here. I'm actually on my way up to, right now, as I'm talking to you, the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. And the reason being, my mother-in-law, who's in her latter 70s, unfortunately has osteoporosis. She's got all sorts of ailments. She fell down. She had a surgery, and for some reason she refused to use the walker, and then she fell down, tripped, and shattered some stuff in her hip bone and stuff of that nature. And she has now been stuck at the Mayo Clinic for over a month, and I'm going back up there, and she'll probably be there for another 2 weeks. The point being, she did not, exercise enough. She did, and then the other thing is she did herself a disservice with, she did a lot of travel to New York, and she was lugging stuff around, which put a lot of strain on her back and what have you. And now consequently, we're all paying the price for it because, to Dr. Omar's point, as we get older, bones get a little bit more brittle. You got to be more cognizant, and you just have to do the best you can because before you know it, if you get to that age, a lot of bad things can happen, unfortunately.
And Dave, how old is she?
She's only 78.
Yeah, that's Dr. Omar.
Yeah, I mean, and thank you for sharing. It's kind of my this same story happened with my grandmother. She became immobile after she had a hip problem when she was, I think she was at that time 72. It's very serious, Earl, and that's why I always try to have in my pharmacy vitamin D3 and K2, and I try to recommend it to a younger age of women. And also in men, multivitamin, I try to always have in my multivitamins for men 2,000 units of vitamin D3 and also vitamin K2, because 2,000 units is just the bare minimum that we can have. We really need to take care of our bone health early on. And if we hear the term osteoporosis and osteopenia, there is a plan to reverse it. There is more than one plan that doctors would approve that would help the bones get stronger. But stronger bones is healthier life. And God knows when we're going to live, when we're going to die. But
Right.
I want to live every day of my life as healthy as I can be, with a fresh body, fresh mind. And as Dave is saying, it's not just the person is paying the price, it's everyone around them is trying to help them. And then there is like the medical bills that come with that. Just think of Mayo Clinic, how much it's going to cost to stay and come out. So
Right.
there is a lot of complications that are not just medical but also social and family get to be disturbed so much with these issues. So let's just work together, think of healthy food, think of eating breakfast and put healthy leafy greens. Caffeine is good, it helps to wake up the brain, but also caffeine is increasing, it's a diuretic, it takes water from the body and it also can decrease the mass of bones. So let's be moderate in what we eat and what we drink, and let's think of the idea of food is medicine, and increase the nuts and seeds and the minerals that we can take from the foods. And then after that we invest in good supplements to increase bone density. I want to tell you that the box that I'm talking about, that's for osteoporosis and osteopenia treatment, this box can cost up to $115 a month for this box. And I thought when I was talking to the company representative and the researchers of the products, I thought that this is something that's going to be over the budget of people. But I found a lot of customers that come and request the bone health kit every month, and they tell me, we went to the doctor after 6 months of using this kit, and the doctor was amazed that the bone density is increasing, and I do not have to take certain medications that I have side effects from. So then I get calls from the doctors asking me to be on the same regimen because they are starting to get osteopenia and osteoporosis. So there are plans, they work, we just have to focus on them and follow through.
844-967-2789 is the number. You're officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show.
It's a nice song.
It's a crying sin. Ride a painted pony, let the spinning wheel spin. You got no money and you got no home. Spinning wheel all alone. Talking about your troubles and you never learn. Ride a painted pony, let the spinning wheel turn.
All right, welcome back to In the Pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. Dr. Omar, it is not hyperbole for me to say to you that every time we have our discussions and basically, and I'm hearing you and you're educating me and and others, it's life-changing information that you are disseminating to us. And so I just hope, and I know that there are many people listening, many don't call, but I know how really important a segment this really is, and it gets better every time you're on the air.
Thank you, Earl. I'm really happy to hear that. I also put it on my website and I put it on my podcast, and I get the feedback from people that are hearing and listening. And I'm always glad to search and research tools and information that I can help the listeners with, because it's our responsibility with what we know and learn to help each others with tools that will make us live healthier, happier. That's the goal of life, is to just spend it with the people that we love and make sure that we can help each other, empowering each other. That's the community.
So let's go to Bunny from Racine. Good morning to you, Bunny. Thank you very much for the call. You say what?
Good morning, Earl. I love your show, and
Thank
I
you.
love this segment with the doctor. I'd like to ask him a question. I have osteopenia, and I'm currently getting the reclassed IV drip, and I want to know his thoughts on that. And I have another question, too, and I'm taking collagen, and I want to know his thoughts on that also. And I'll hang up and listen.
No, hang on. Go ahead, Dr. Omar.
Yes, so I mean, it's if this is working for you and is helping to increase the bone density, that's great. Reclass is zoledronic acid, it's IV bisphosphonate medication, right? That helps to inhibit the breakdown and lessens the breakdown of bones, all right? So you have to make sure that you're also building bones. So also you need to be taking your calcium from fortified greens, and you need to be taking the vitamin D3 and K2. Make sure that you check with your doctors and your pharmacist, and make sure that you can take those as well. Increasing their levels will help with the outcomes of the uh, therapy. The other thing is collagen is also very important. I'm glad that you take it. I hope that you take it from a good source. And collagen is helping also with the stronger bones.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
So Bunny, Dr. Omar, what's the phone number she can reach you?
So you can reach us at 262-429-9429. If she's in Racine, of course, she hears about Wiltopia Pharmacy. She can just Google us or find us right away. If you need any help, please let me know.
Hey, Bunny, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Lynn from Oconomowoc. Good morning to you, Lynn. You say what?
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. First, I have a comment on something I heard, that first the hip will break and then they fall. So maybe the woman wasn't using her walker, but her hip broke and then she fell. And then the second thing was for the bone supplement kit that is at the pharmacy, do you need a prescription for that?
Yes, I think there is very important information for the listeners. If the walker is recommended, it's recommended and it's needed to help protect the movement and to decrease and lessen the percentage of falling. So it's highly recommended. If a doctor recommends a walker, get a walker. don't just kind of shy away from the fact that you need a walker, and also at the same time work on exercising and working with a trainer, physical therapy to help strengthen the bone. The second thing, the kit does not need a prescription, but what we do in the pharmacy is that we do drug interaction, drug supplements interaction to make sure that you can take the kit, and then you can take it with the medications that you take. And also I share with my patients the ingredients in the kit so they would take it to the doctor next time that they visit them. But it does not need a prescription. And there is a couple of them that are present at the pharmacy by different companies. They all work, but we try to find a suitable kit for each patient. You can call at the pharmacy and ask about the bone health kit, or leave me a message and I will call you back.
Dr. Omar, your phone number again.
262-429-9429.
The website.
welltopiarx.com.
And Calvin will let people know, Calvin, how they can get in touch if they missed out on any of this.
Yeah, just go to civicmedia.us/shows or check out Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts.
Dr. Omar, always great
Thank you.
to have you on. And until next time, you have been
Until
in the
next time.
pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show. Up next, Byron Stripling. He is a conductor of the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, starting Friday through Sunday. He's up next. 844-967-2789. You're tuned into the Earl Ingram Show.
Okay. Take care.
By the riverside, catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride. over yonder, what do you see? The sun is rising, most definitely. A new day is coming. Ooh, people are changing. Ain't it beautiful? Ooh, crystal blue persuasion.
All right. Welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. You can text us at that same number, and it is an honor and a privilege to welcome none other than Mr. Byron Stripling. He is captivated. He's a trumpet virtuoso, singer, and actor. He has captivated audiences across the globe. In 2020, Stripling was named the principal pops conductor of the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, and he currently serves as the artistic director and conductor of the highly acclaimed Columbus Jazz Orchestra, and on and on and on. And I have the privilege and honor to introduce him to you, the listening audience. Good morning to you, sir. How are you?
How you doing? What a joy to talk with you. Thank you for having me, Earl.
Look, man, the honor and privilege is mine as I've looked at your unbelievable bio. Tell us a little bit about Byron Stripling.
Well, I mean, depends on where you want me to start. Here's the most important thing currently. The most important thing is now I am a principal pops conductor of the Milwaukee Symphony. That's the thing that so excites me and why I sit here with you. I will tell you a little bit about myself. I am who I am because somebody loved me. I came from beautiful parents, born in Atlanta, Georgia, and they raised me up right, I hope. And they showered me with music, and that music became imbued in my body, mind, and soul. And then I want to just make people happy through the gift of music, through the power of music by sharing it. And thankfully, I get to do that now through the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. So that's a little bit about me. But if you get me talking, I won't stop. So
Well,
I want to apologize.
So help us, walk us through when you talk about symphony and pop and how they coalesce.
So, symphonies have always been a part of pop music. And I used to work and record with people like, Burt Bacharach and then things like that. And they always had strings in the background. Then, Motown would always add them to whatever their soundtrack. So it's always there in the background. What I do try to do with the shows I do, and what you have to do with the Milwaukee Symphony, since they're so amazing, is I try to make them even a more central part of the show. In other words, they're just not there playing whole notes and just sitting there. I get those guys working, and the beauty of strings is amazing, and the orchestra needs that. They deserve it. It's one of the best in the country. I don't think you people know what you have here in an orchestra. It's simply spectacular. And so we're about to take this whole community here in Milwaukee on a journey by elevating that to the next level. And this coming concert is a great example of that, because I'll take songs that are imbued with the blues and spirituals and gospel and all of those things, and we kind of put those together, have the strings be a part of it. Then we'll do some Jelly Roll Morton. We'll do like a song called Black Bottom Stomp. It's one of them old ragtime songs by Jelly Roll Morton. And it's always the strings are central to that, as well as the oboes and the clarinet and the bassoons and the trombones and the tuba and the trumpets and the percussion section. But here's the last thing I'll leave you with. On this particular show, I'm bringing a guy in. His name is Bobby Floyd. Now, Bobby has played with a couple good people. He played organ behind Ray Charles for years. Then he went on to play with a group called Dr. John. If you remember Dr. John, he used to sing that song, I was in the right place, but it was at the wrong time. And so he played with Dr. John. But he's really, like me, he brought up in the church. So he's going to sit behind that organ. He's going to take us to church. In fact, we're going to go to a couple churches too on Sunday because we need to just, we need to spread the word. And so we're going to sing some of the spirituals and do some things like that. So that's kind of how we integrate everybody together.
So when the saints go marching in is the theme.
That's what we call the whole thing, and it just sort of illustrates music from New Orleans and beyond. New Orleans for jazz, but they always call it the birthplace of jazz. And New Orleans musicians were cool because that's one reason we're playing spirituals and gospel, because they would play a spiritual or a gospel tune in a nightclub, and people freaked out. They're like, "How can you do that? This is they serving the devil's water up in here. How can you be singing them songs?" And the thing is, New Orleans musicians always thought that good music is good music. So we're going to play down by the riverside, and we're going to get the audience clapping their hands because it's good music and there's a good message in there. So we have no fear of doing that, just like the New Orleans musicians did. And so that's how we designed this program, with lots of blues, lots of New Orleans, lots of jazz. And then we just take people on a journey.
So for my listening audience who has no concept, as you've traveled the world and play all over the world, let them know about the impact and the beauty of the Milwaukee Symphony, the facility and the quality of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been around for years, and we just want people
I mean,
to know
I mean the new building, the new facility.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the new facility is amazing. It's one of the best in the country. There's like 2 or 3 halls that I like performing in, and Milwaukee is right at the top of the list. It's like you can go in there and you can literally talk on stage with no microphone, and people hear every word of what you're saying, which means I have to be careful in what I say.
the architecture of it is breathtaking.
Yes, absolutely. And the acoustics is the thing that gets you. There's lots of natural wood there. People always try to cheat, and they put like concrete in the building. That doesn't reverberate well for instruments. We can play almost acoustically, which means we almost need no mics at all. The only mics that'll be on that stage will be my vocal mic and a couple others, because the hall is so amazing. And we just want people to know that the orchestra is part of our community here. It's central to it. So if you want to feel better, you need to come to one of the concerts with live musicians and live people in the hall. See, a lot of people, Earl, sometimes they're like, "Why am I so depressed? I don't feel so well." And you realize that you have been sitting in front of a computer all day. What you need, because we are social people, we need to be socialized. We need each other. So when you go to the concert hall, when you go to your local church or wherever you go, being with people is part of what nourishes you. Now you add music to that, and then that music takes you on a journey. And this hall facilitates that, like I said, because you don't need all these microphones. You're sitting next to somebody, you might not even know them, but when you leave the concert, if I do my job correctly, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel lifted. You might not know why, but I know after one of my concerts, when you go home, you won't kick the cat or the dog, and you won't have an argument with your wife, right? Because you would have been nourished by the power of music, that you need that for your heart. See, Earl, what I sell, you can't touch. You can't put it in your hand, but you can feel it. And I want people to feel the music from this concert and this music that we sing to them. You know, that William James of Harvard said, "I sing not because I'm happy, but I'm happy because I sing."
Yeah, you
right? And that's,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, finish your point.
No, I'm saying that's like that old that's like that old spiritual. You know what they just, "I sing because I'm happy."
Yeah.
Remember, his eyes on the sparrow is called, "And I'm happy because I'm free. I know his eye is on the sparrow,
and I know he watches over me." You
Well,
know,
you better go ahead and preach, Earl.
so
You're
let me say this. I am, I want to tell people that you are here, and when the Saints go marching in starting tomorrow, February 20th, there are still tickets available. Saturday, September 21st, and Sunday, September 22nd. So, there's seating still available. There's still tickets available. And I can tell you, I've been to the new symphony. It is absolutely breathtaking. It is one of the most beautiful facilities in the entire state of Wisconsin, in the world.
Yep.
Haven't traveled across the world, but I've looked at some of those things, and I know that this Milwaukee that symphony has spared not a dime
Hmm.
in
Absolutely.
making
Yeah.
sure that this happens. And I'm excited to let the listening audience know that we're going to be giving away 10 sets of 2 tickets on the show. And I'm going to give away 5 sets of 2 today. And we'll determine, when we'll start giving those away, and 5 sets of 2 on tomorrow. I'm going to get an opportunity to meet you, my wife and I, and I'm telling you, I'm so excited, man. I'm listening to you, and you just as an African American,
Hmm.
as a black man who is a very young boy,
Hmm.
who grew up in the Central City. I
Hmm.
went to a church that took
Hmm.
me to the symphony as a young
Hmm.
boy. And I
Yep.
should have never found love in symphony music normally, because
Mm.
I wouldn't have normally been exposed to it. But I got
Right. Yep.
exposed to it at a very young age. And to this day, man, if
Hmm.
if anytime there's a oboe, a French horn, a
Yep.
tuba, a
Hmm.
trombone, a trumpet,
Yep.
man, the strings,
Yes.
I mean, it soothes your soul.
Absolutely. It's food for the soul.
Yes, sir. So listen, I'm really thrilled and excited about this, and really looking forward to the event, and for people to get a chance to come and see you.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see everybody too.
All right, that's Mr. Byron Stripling, and he is going to be performing and actually conducting the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra this coming weekend. Thank you very much, my dear friend. We look forward to seeing you and talking to you again.
I can't wait to see you and your audience.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you.
Crystal good persuasion.
See, I was resting at the park, minding my own business as I kick up the treble tone. On my radio tape, play a box, right? Just loud enough so folks can hear us hype. See, out of nowhere comes a woman I'm dating. Investigation, maybe she was demonstrating, but nevertheless, I was pleased. My day was going great, and my soul was at ease until a group of brothers started bugging out, drinking the 40 ounce, going the nigga route.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. You can text us at that same number. Let's go to Gloria from just another wonderful, wonderful place, St. Anne's. Hey, good morning to you, Gloria. How you doing?
Good morning, Earl. Can you hear me clearly?
Absolutely, I can hear you clearly.
Great. I'm so sorry. I 101 things went wrong today, but I'm calling from St. Anne Center, and I'm so excited that Mr. Stripling will be showcased with us today at our Indaba band shell at 6:00 p.m. And I wanted to just say welcome and have people come out and support the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and Mr. Stripling.
Let me say this to anyone within the sound of my voice who doesn't know about the Indaba band shell in St. Anne's. St. Anne's is an unbelievable facility right in the heart of the city of Milwaukee, an area that had been totally abandoned by the business community. And a wonderful, wonderful woman who was actually once upon a time with these, I forgot the name of she came from the sisters. There was a group of them. I forgot.
St. Francis.
Yes. And so she created an unbelievable facility right in an area that was totally abandoned to deal with children and elderly people, and it is a daycare facility that's right there with a facility with children, and they intermingle, and it has all sorts of wonderful programs that happen every day. And then you guys built this spectacular stage, and for the entire summer you've been showcasing great music every Wednesday night. I've been there most of them, so it is a very, very exciting time. You want to say to the people who are listening to come out tonight, you said it's 6:00, and get a chance to get a sneak preview of this wonderfully talented and internationally acclaimed conductor.
We are, if you don't mind me adding, and thank you so much for all of the compliments of St. Anne Center. We have two facilities. One is the Stein campus, that was the first one that opened, and that is located on East Morgan. And I think that the need of the community was that we needed to explore having a second campus, which is the one, the Cyrus, off of 24th and North Avenue. And yes, Sister Etna Lonergan is the founder. She was also the developer, and she just had a knack for welcoming people and starting this intergenerational facility. So we have adults on one side and we have children on the other. And there are times when they interact with each other on special programming. And to see how the children light up the adults and the adults welcome the children, it's just phenomenal. I want to thank you, Earl, for having us on the air to talk about the band shell, but more importantly, our partnership with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and having Mr. Stripling there on tonight. Normally, it's on Wednesday night,
right.
But because because of Mr. Stripling and his pianist, we wanted to make sure that we were able to accompany them on tonight. So I would say bring your lawn chair, your blankets. It's a beautiful day. We're going to anticipate the program beginning at 6 o'clock. It's a 1-hour free event to the community. I'm expecting Mr. Stripling to just show out. And we'll have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time.
So-
I've yet to really officially meet him.
So
I'm
you
gonna
may
shut
not
up.
you may not know this, but I know so much about St. Anne's because a young man that my wife and I are raising, he attends St. Anne's, and
Yes, he does.
and so 3
Go
days,
ahead.
at least 3 days a week, we are graced by the presence and the beauty of what you guys have there. I'll be there tonight, and I think I'm going to bring him as well.
Awesome, awesome. Music is a universal enjoyment by anybody of any age. I am so looking forward to being able to share all of this with the full community. Usually when we do the Indaba nights, it's usually done on Wednesday
Right.
from June through August. And it is more old school, but we welcome everyone. And I'm sure that Mr. Stripling is going to be very well received by the Milwaukee community on this evening. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank
6
you.
o'clock.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate it.
very much, and I will see you this evening.
Okay,
All right.
take care, and I'm going to let go so other people can call in.
All right, thank you. All right, so listen, I'm going to give away 5 sets of 2 tickets to the Milwaukee Symphony that is going to be taking place over this weekend. Callers number 3, 5, 7, 9, and 10. Give Calvin a call, and we'll certainly make sure you get an opportunity to see this spectacular, event that is coming up. All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. You can text us at that same number. Let's go to Brendan from New Jersey. Good morning to you, Brendan. Thank you very much for hanging on, man. You say what?
Hey, listen, I just wanted to relate the whole music thing. I remember my first exposure back in like early 70s in grammar school to symphony music was the incredible LP Space Odyssey 2001, the soundtrack from the movie.
Right.
And it really opened up my mind. And then as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about the healing and the level playing field that music brings us all on. And I could only hope that, a beautiful event like you guys are talking about tonight and in the symphony bring some people together. That's all.
Man, well, it really does, Brendan, and thank you very much for the call. Again, 844-967-2789. I'm going to be at the attending, the performance on Saturday. So, you want to get a chance to, meet me, I'll be there Saturday, 844-967-2789. If you want to get a couple tickets, you can call Calvin and he'll make sure we'll hook you up. We're going to give away 5 sets on tomorrow as well. But I wanted to talk about, we keep hearing things about Kamala Harris and what she's not doing. And here's something that kind of slips under the radar that I think is really, really something that I think should be touted. And Kamala Harris says she will cut degree requirements for certain federal jobs. Many people have been locked out of federal jobs because they don't have degrees. I don't know what percentage of Americans have degrees. Calvin, can you look it up? I don't think it's higher than 30%. So if only 30% of the American people have degrees, that means 70% have been locked out of government jobs that have benefits and pensions. Well, she's looking to change that. She will cut college degree requirements for certain federal jobs if elected president. And the Republicans' rival have been making economic pledges to woo voters. Harris and Republican former President Donald Trump are in a tight race. Now, you can say, or you may say, Calvin, did you just find out? Okay. You may say, well, those jobs should be solely for people with college degrees. Well, there are a lot of people who don't have degrees who can do those jobs, and they've been locked out of them for so long. And to the credit of, the vice president, she sees that, and she's willing to make sure that changes. Here, I think I have it right here, Calvin. As president, I will get rid of the unnecessary degree requirements for federal jobs to increase jobs for folks without a 4-year degree, Harris said in her speech. More than 62% of Americans aged 25 and older did not hold a bachelor's degree. So 62% of the American people have been locked out of these great federal jobs that offer pensions and a middle-class lifestyle, that people, unless they've been degreed, haven't been able to obtain. I think that's a great idea. 844-967-2789. The Democratic presidential candidate said Friday that the U.S. should recognize the value of paths to success beyond a college degree, like apprenticeships and technical programs. A degree does not necessarily indicate a person's skills, Harris said. She added, and it will challenge the private sector to do the same. A survey by Gallup and Lumina Foundation released earlier this year found that many Americans are skeptical about the value and cost of college. Over half of U.S. adults who have never been enrolled or once ever enrolled said the cost of education was a very important reason for them to not sign up or return to college. Now, let me tell you why that is really so important. Because here's another article that I was looking at this morning that coincides with that. Teens are losing faith in college, giving rise to interest in the skilled trades. And so at a time when the skilled trades, that the sky's the limit, baby boomers are retiring, and the opportunities for a strong middle class living exist in the trades. You know, it's good to see that younger people are deciding to, you know, go that route. 4 years after the COVID pandemic began, there are more than 900,000 fewer undergraduates enrolled in college. Universities are closing. Here in the state of Wisconsin, there's a lot of concern and angst by universities and towns where universities are located because there are not as many people who are enrolling in college. And you can understand when you start hearing discussions about how much money people owe after they graduate from college, you know, instead of just telling everybody go ahead and go to college, certainly people need to think that through. You know, not everybody that goes to college graduates from college. But for most of those who do go to college, at the end of it, they're going to owe some debt. I was reading an article the other day, and I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't get to it, that one of the fastest growing groups or groups that owe more college debt than most are baby boomers. I was blown away by the fact that baby boomers can owe so much college debt. How can it possibly be that baby boomers, many who graduated from college 40 years ago, still owe so much college debt? That is amazing to me. And so if that's the case, and it is, the fact that people can carry college debt for 30, 40 years is a frightening reality. So when you hear younger people who are attending college or graduating from college, and they're talking, and we're really talking about millennials and Generation Xers, and they want to see this debt, that this albatross that's on their backs relieved. Well, I think, yeah, it's a good thing that children and young people of today aren't rushing into, you know, college. The overall rate of high school graduates choosing to enroll in college held steady in 2023 compared to a year earlier, according to a recent report from the National Student Clearing Research Center, which Doug Shapiro, the center's executive director, said was an optimistic sign. Although the data shows the rate of high school graduates enrolling within a year of their graduation is significantly higher for students from low poverty high schools. Calvin, you're a young guy who just graduated from college. When you hear a statistic like what I just mentioned about baby boomers who graduated from college, Calvin, 30 years ago, still owing college debt, I mean, isn't that kind of unbelievable?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely crazy because, I mean, the perspective of my generation is that if you went to college before 2000, then you got off cheap. But apparently that's not the case.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, people have paid for homes. They own homes and yet still owe college debt. That's kind of frightening, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just goes to show you that the interest really adds up, and really something odd about student loans is other loans kind of get erased if you file for bankruptcy, and I don't believe your
No, you
student
can't.
loans go away.
You can't erase student loans through bankruptcy.
Yeah, and that's one of the only forms of debt that's not the case.
What does that say, man?
It's just weird.
I think that it is I always thought, well, child support and student loans, you can erase almost any other thing, and you can't erase debt that you owe to the government. But all other things you can erase. Let's go to the phone line. Let's go to CJ. Good morning to you, CJ. You say what?
Good morning, Earl. Thanks for taking my call. And you, Calvin, also. It's really sad to hear that, but
sad,
it doesn't surprise me.
Sad to hear what?
Not that people still owe student loans after 30 years. Because not only are we not right now teaching our kids successfully how to read and write and do arithmetic, we don't teach them basic finance. Because if you're still paying student loans, and part of the reason is the interest rates are low, but I tell you what, if you're just making minimum payments, that doesn't go away. So it doesn't surprise me, though, really, because we don't teach basic finance. We went from, in 3.5 years, Earl, to the most personal savings income to the highest financial debt, credit card debt in our country's history in 3 years. People are living right now off their credit cards because they can't afford to survive. And it hurts the lowest income people the most, inflation.
Well, you know what, CJ, are you aware of the fact that the Federal Reserve just cut the interest rates, and talking about cutting them even more in the coming months and years? Are you aware of that?
You know why that is, Earl?
Yeah.
Because our economy is slowing, and they have to incentivize it.
Hey, CJ.
It's true.
Hey, CJ, the economy are you aware that the economy of this nation has been booming 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Trump, and another 4 years of Biden? That's 16 years in succession, CJ. Unprecedented. It has to slow down. So, you can say it's slowing down because of Kamala Harris and President Biden, but you would be incorrect. 844-967-2789 is the number. We'll come back to you on the other side.
That's how it is. Wipe away your tears. Love is here today and gone tomorrow. That's the way love is. Show love how it is. must have loved before. Got mad and closed the door. But you said, child, just once more. I chose you for the one. Now we're having so much fun. You treated me so kind. I'm about to lose my mind. You made me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. Man, I hate to interrupt this song. Anyway, we're talking about the fact that, so many people and younger people now, and universities across this nation, many of them are struggling economically because not as many young people are going to college. And the fact that Kamala Harris is now starting to open up the opportunities for governmental jobs that, their career, those jobs, once you get one of those jobs, you are set for life. And, pensions and all of those things. And those have generally been reserved for people with college degrees. Let's go to Mike from Kenosha. Hey, good morning to you, Mike. How you doing, sir?
Beautiful day. Thanks for taking my call as always. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just want to remind CJ that prior to Ronald Reagan, America was the number one creditor nation.
And it wound up the largest debtor nation when he walked away. Absolutely right.
Yep. And with that, you can also, there's a parallel here. That's when trickle down economics was beginning and job creator means were beginning to gain notoriety. And we were all duped on that in a big way. It's been a long time since education was in sync with the needs of the employers. We've witnessed this for decades and decades. I've interviewed literally hundreds of what looked like on paper strong candidates for key positions that once you got them in front of you, they were weak or they didn't have communication skills required. So I think, we pivoted. William Bennett, the education czar, if you will, it took the whole country in a different course. Excuse the pun.
No,
and
I got
it. Education for profit. They wanted, that was the beginning, if you will, of the assault on public education. So, that's kind of a big deal for me. Our whole nation pivoted with this trickle down job creator nonsense. And at the same time, set up the disaster for these young people who, borrowed a lot of money, not having the financial, wherewithal to manage it properly.
Right.
Well, 20 and 21-year-old, is got a clear path on what course they're going to take, or what path they're going to take. I didn't figure it out until I was almost 30. So I don't know. Last thing about this is, I think one step the banks should do is they should require student loans to go to student activities, not vacations, not cars, not stereos.
Agreed.
Things like that. There are ways to regulate this so it works to everyone's detriment or everyone's benefit, and not to our detriment. So, with good discussions, with people calling into your show and sharing ideas, there's not a problem that we can't solve.
Hey, Mike.
So thanks for what you do.
Yeah, man. Thank you as well, Mike. I mean, for the great information. CJ, quickly, go ahead.
Well, first off, when Ronald Reagan cut the corporate tax rates, the most income to the
You're breaking up.
spent it away.
You said
Tip
what?
O'Neill and when Ronald Reagan cut the corporate tax rates from 70 to 40 to 38% or lower, the Treasury took in more money ever, and the Democrats in the Senate and Congress spent it away.
Hey, CJ.
So that's where that came
I know,
from.
CJ. So you're challenging what Mike said. Mike is absolutely correct. I remember it like yesterday. We were the largest credited nation in the world when Ronald Reagan became president. When he left, we became the highest debtor nation in the world in Ronald Reagan's time. You forgot that, right? Or are you trying to blame somebody else for that?
And Senate, Earl.
Huh?
Who controlled the Congress and
Well,
Senate?
okay, so CJ, if we're talking about who controls the Congress and Senate during Ronald Reagan's time, why don't we say that during Joe Biden's time? Why don't we say that during other Democrats' time? If it's about the Congress and the Senate, which it is, then it should be that way for everybody and not just for when Democrats are president. Thank you very much for the call. Thank everybody who made the show go. Thank you, Calvin. Up next, Jane Madden and Greg Bach, Madden on air. You've been tuned into the Earl Ingram Show. Enjoy another beautiful, beautiful day.
Into my life. I want to thank you, girl, every day.